I'm Ashwini. I belong to Pragati Abhiyan, rural livelihoods work in Nashik and around Nashik. We've been working since 2006. Started with 15 villages. Now we are in more than 500 villages across Maharashtra. We primarily work on rural livelihoods, and we've been thinking about different ways of approaching this subject. We have always confined ourselves to what villagers there want. We never went with an idea and said that let's do this. We never did that. We always said that let's plan what to do. So we were trying to think of ways and means of creating some enterprises. Like we worked on millets. When we worked on Narega and we had some water bodies constructed, we said, can we do fisheries in that? Because of this extra water in the village, what else can we do? Does that mean we can increase livestock? So we were wondering what to do in different ways. And we were feeling that our discussions were going in circles and there is some way of giving a tangent to it. But this was all very vague in our mind. We didn't know what we were talking about. Meanwhile, we also started working with Maharashtra Bamboo Promotion Foundation, and Mr. Giriraj sir heads it. That's his idea, and he has created that foundation. And personally, I have worked with him a lot when he was secretary in government of Maharashtra. So he suggested, why don't you think about this? If you're thinking about so much of rural livelihoods based on rural natural resources. So he suggested this workshop. I thought about it, we discussed in our office. I said, okay, let's give it a try. Actually, we are going through a transit phase. We are almost done with some projects and we are waiting for new projects to come through. So we were also going through a lull in terms of fund flows, but we thought it's time for us to start thinking, take a kind of turning point in the organization itself. And so idea came around, and I got to know about you, got details about Glides workshops from the website, and I wrote to you, and things rolled out from there. There was only a vague idea about something to do with rural livelihoods and something to do with thinking through with it. And I didn't want to probe more because I wanted it to remain as a surprise for me too, because otherwise I would have started thinking about what it is. I would have started thinking within the group also, and we would have created a very good expectation platform. We decided not to do that this time. We said let's take it, that's it. So we were all looking forward to this, and we all enjoyed. And all of our farmers, actually in all our trainings we don't bother whether participants know reading and writing, participants take notes or not. We don't bother. We are very cool in that sense. We are not very strict about how people participate and all. But this time we realized that all 3 days everybody was actively participating. They felt involved in the process and it came out really well. Everybody felt that they are taking away something. That is for sure. So, though the workshop was in Hindi, initially we were a little apprehensive, but we later realized that they are able to take it. So there was no need to do it and translate it into Marathi also. Some places, but not much required. So it went with a very smooth flow, no problem. And they definitely good takeaways. And like I used the metaphor with them of there's a huge cupboard in your house which you have forgotten about. It's lying in a corner. Whenever you require something, you just take it out from there. But it is filled up from what your generations of people from your family have put in there. And whenever you require something, you just take it out and then close it immediately. You are not sure what all is there in that. But this workshop was one way of getting all that out and trying to see what it means and what does it mean to me right now in this age. It also cleared a lot of cobwebs from our mind. So in that sense, the process was really good. In one sentence, I will say that the whole workshop was a process. It was not geared towards a particular outcome, but the process itself is the outcome. That's what I liked about excellent thing about this workshop is the process. What did the process do? Basically, it first made people think through a particular perspective. And so, take that perspective, open your minds, and while doing this in the process, they also started feeling confident about doing something. These are the three basic fundamentals. After that, we can work around details, acquired knowledge, information, everything. But this is the basis. This is the place where the concepts get formed, and then they will build everything else. So I think building perspective, opening our minds, and building confidence is something that happened during this workshop, and we are thankful to you for that. While we were planning for this workshop, we were wondering who all should participate. We have a very good cadre of volunteers whom we call cluster resource persons. They work around one cluster of villages. They belong to the same place, and they have been working with Pragati Abhiyan for years together. So they are quite rooted and they can think really very well. So those were very important for us to that they go through this process. And then we also thought about the farmers groups that have been formed under Atma. Farmers groups who are growing millets, who are growing ragi, who want to get into ragi processing units. They are planning to do all that. So people who had already taken a couple of steps in that direction of being entrepreneurs, we invited all those participants. So our cluster resource persons were there, members of farmers groups were there, and members of farmer producer organizations, company that we have formed, members from those were also present. So for them, it is an immediate takeaway. So they will start working on it like next day. So it was very timely in that sense. Given this experience, we would definitely like to mention this to other organizations like ours, especially working in rural livelihoods. Incidentally, while discussing with Pradeep, we got to know that both of us are Ashoka Fellows. So this was quite interesting to know. And we also came across some names which both of us happen to know. So it's a small world, yet we would like to take it forward and let everybody know the experience that we have had. And not just today when the workshop is over, but 1 year from now, we would like to take a stock of where we are now after taking in all those details. So it's not just a workshop, but workshop as a starting point. That's how we are looking at it. I'm fine.